Hi, in this video we explain the basic terms and definitions used in SCADA TRACE MODE. Project, node, channel, attribute, template, argument, sources, receivers of data, link, and call. At first, let's load the integrated development environment, and then, with the help of the icon, open existing project, open the one of the demonstration projects supplied with the development environment. Tomato. Actually, the first trace mode terms was named a project. The project is defined here as performed by the help internal trace mode components description of the algorithm of functioning of automatic or automated system. The content of the trace mode project is written to a binary file with extension PRG. By the way, the project file cannot be directly launched under control of the trace mode runtime module, real-time monitor, RTM. Onward, the project file name should not contain spaces and special characters. By the way, the number of projects and the time of editing them in the development environment not limited. And finally, the internal project file format of the basic and professional version trace mode are different, and therefore it is impossible into base version of the development system to open the project developed in the professional version, and vice versa. If necessary, project's conversion carried out by specialists of Adastra Research Group. Well, now let's look at the left window of Trace Mode Project Explorer, where we can see a tree of the loaded project Tomato. Clicking by the left mouse button plus sign on system layer. Now we have access to trace mode nodes. For this project we have one node called RTM. Trace mode node determines the hardware platform. It may be PC, programmable automation controller, tablet, or browser, on which must be running the appropriate runtime trace mode. Numbers of nodes in the trace mode project are limited up to 10,000, and the communications between them can be based on all known types: network, Ethernet with a free topology, serial communications, point-to-point, multi-point, modem, dial-up, direct, radio, GSM, and others. The trace mode node type indicates a set of executable functions and accordingly determines the selection of runtime. For example, the nodes type RTM allows execute such runtimes as RTM, RTM+, docRTM+, and even trace mode OPC server. There are types of nodes which, together with the aforesaid, directly point to the operating system. For example, node embedded RTM used for open controllers with operating system Windows C on board, and runtime for it named Micro Trace Mode. Again, nodes names should not contain spaces or specific characters. Please note that the traditional or closed PLC cannot be nodes of the trace mode project, because trace mode runtimes for them does not exist. But there is a good news. A restriction on the number of PLC in the trace mode project also does not exist. Let's continue. click on plus on node RTM. And then, by the left mouse button, choose a group trace mode components named channels. Now, let's turn our view to the right Project Explorer window. All that we can see here names trace mode channels. Academic channels definitions is not exist, so we'll use empirical. Channel is the information structure is designed for solving a wide range of tasks under the control of trace mode runtime. The main tasks certainly will be data exchange with different input-output devices and data processing. Accordingly, the channels are divided into two types and the 7 classes. Types input and output. That is, in general, the type determines whether the channel is designed to receive data from the input device input or for the formation of the value on the output device output. In turn, the class of the channel determines the type of data to be processed, but not only. For example, the class float is designed for processing real floating point, and the class hex16 for processing of positive integer data in the range from 0 up to 65,535. Float and hex16 classes are the most popular channels in any project in trace mode. However, in cases where the range of processed data is not enough, you can use channel classes double float and hex32. Accordingly, the processing is double precision. Time class is designed to work with timestamps. For example, obtain samples of data what accumulated in the archive. Event class, defined by developer in order to fix any events in the stack FIFO determined in a PC or Open Controller operating memory. Somewhat apart from the above classes of channels is class call. Call channels use with required to call on the nodes templates of screens, programs, reports, SQL queries, and very widely used to implement functions such as processing and presentation of archive data, perform bulk operations with channels, run external application, and so on. The maximum number of channels in the node depends on the node type, and for our RTM can be up to 64,000 channels, and for embedded RTM not more than 4,095. The client node types such as console and embedded console can contain channels only call class. Let's take, for example, the channel with the name generator and open its properties and then select Attributes tab. Here we can see several dozen attributes that have their ID, full, short names, and data types. Here it's necessary to clarify that all the attributes are strictly divided into two categories: calculated and not calculated. The both are related to internal algorithms invisible to an outside observer. So, not calculated attributes generally define the parameters and mode of the internal algorithms, and calculated attributes carry out results of these algorithms. On this basis, calculated attributes are read-only, and not calculated attributes can be changed at any moment, and they are presented in forms of channels editors. On the other hand, all the attributes of the channels are also divided into general, common for all classes of channels, and specific, that is particular only to one class of channels. For example, the attribute real value, a common calculated attribute, and, for example, multiplier, not calculated attribute, channel, class, float. Total channel attributes number at large extent varies depending on the class. And the collection of all channels inside of one node forms the nodes channels base, and collection of all nodes channel bases forms projects channel base. The most important feature of SCADA trace mode is the ability to link not calculated attribute input value for the input type channel to any attribute of any channel, local or remote, or hardware-software data source. Accordingly, for the channel type output, calculated attribute output value link with any not calculated attributes of any channel or hardware-software data receiver. The channel has only one link at any given time. Let's return to our project Tomato. Here, let's select tab Info for our channel generator. In the field Link, we can see linking of component triangle from layer sources receivers from group generator 1. Well, sources receivers of data are described in the respective layer of the project tree, and their total number is defined power of the development system of professional line trace mode. For basic line, there are 64,000 sources receivers always. Commonly, for linking of sources receivers to the channels used mechanism drag and drop or auto building. Direct drag and drop sources receivers to node with creation of channels together with link it to the I/O hardware. The maximum number of sources receivers for the project not more than 64,000. Another important property of the channel is ability to directly perform any data processing inside the channel. Call property. In our documentation, it's called as translation. Typically, translation used to perform a specific processing that unreachable with predefined algorithms inside the trace mode channel. And remember that using of translation does not increase the number of licensed components for development system and for trace mode runtimes. In order to execute data processing on or control, display data, and perform manual operations, as well as for interaction with external database and report generation, in trace mode provides appropriate templates, programs, screens, reports, and database links. Templates called on nodes using the channel class call, respective call types, and the interaction with the calling template is built through their arguments. The argument's number depends not only on the type of template, but from hardware platform on which it is called. For example, the number of program arguments calls for runtime under Windows 7 can be up to 1000, but for Windows C, maximum value of program arguments 256. The name of argument should not contain spaces and special characters. Arguments in relation to the template may define the type: in input argument, out output, and in out bidirectional. Okay, select the root group our node RTM and open for editing channel class call workshop, the main screen of our project. The data type of argument can be selected from drop-down list. And certainly coordinated with the data type of the argument of another template or channel's attribute specified in its linking. If the field link is empty, you can use the field def_value. Generally, as the template arguments don't apply licensing restrictions, they can used at your discretion. For example, in order to store constants or intermediate results of calculations. Inside one node, arguments of the invoking templates may be directly linked with each other. And we can easily organize a call any template directly in node. If the arguments of the such template immediately set linking to existing components of project, we get a unique template. True template is initially created in the templates layer with one important precondition. Field link these arguments must be free. It allows call this template repeatedly in the project by assigning it different set of arguments linking. Finally, let's do small summary. So, the operation of the project in trace mode is implemented as a permanent process control by not calculated channels attributes in manual automation automatic mode on the analysis of calculated attributes in order to achieve the goal of the developer. A relatively small number of components of which the project is built, giving it the necessary hardness, and a huge number of attributes and arguments by which fastened together selected components bring to the project the necessary flexibility. It's all. Thank you for your attention and bye.